Magnets, how do they work? Alright guys, it's Bats here. Wanted to go ahead and go over a fun deck today. We're going to go ahead and do Magnet Warriors. So Magnet Warriors, they're a little different. They're the other deck that kind of came out at the same time as ABCs and just got overshadowed, sadly. I think it's a really fun deck and actually low-key pretty good, honestly. It's got a lot of flexibility, a lot of extra plays that I didn't really know that you could do. Got a lot of immunity to D-barrier, and you can do a lot with it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a quick, simple deck profile. First monsters we're working with, we have the Alphas. So we have Classic Alpha, Vanilla, and Alpha the Electromagnetic Warrior, which is kind of like a Stratos for your level 8 Magnet Warrior monsters. Next we have Beta, which is like the actual Stratos to the deck. It's going to search for your Electromagnetic Warriors, no matter what their names are. It's the level 4 lower there, so it's going to get your regular Magnet Warriors and your other Electromagnetic Warriors too. And of course we got Gamma and other Gamma over here. I like to play 3 of each of these, so 1 of the regular Gamma of course, and 3 of the Electro Gamma over here, because this one special summons 1 out of your hand too, of whatever level. Y3, I know a lot of people like to play too. I just like to see it in my opening hand. The true boss monster of the deck, 3 copies of Delta the Magnet Warrior. So what this one does is when you have 3 Electromagnetic Warrior or regular Magnet Warrior monsters in the graveyard, except for Delta, when this one gets sent to the graveyard, you can banish those 3 and you special out a Valkyrion the Magnet Warrior. You can also, when you summon this bad boy over here, it actually acts as a Foolish Burials. The neat part about this guy is he's a level 4, and something that Alpha, Beta, and Gamma all have in common is when these guys are on the field, quick effect, when they're during your opponent's turn, you can tribute them out, and then they can actually transform into their full-size Magnet Warrior counterparts over here to kind of dodge an attack and get some more names in the graveyard. Now speaking of the big bosses, let's go ahead and talk about Berserkion. Now this guy is a real boss, level 8, Earth type, 3000 point beater. Normal summon the Alpha, you can still whip this guy out over here just by banishing all 3 of them. You lose some hand advantage, but you know. What you can also do with them is you can banish Magnet Warrior cards out of your graveyard. So you target an Electromagnetic Warrior monster card in your graveyard, or a Magnet Warrior card in your graveyard, banish it, and then you get to pop a card on your opponent's side of the field. Cool part about it, it's not once per turn. There are great ways to abuse this. Valkyrion, I'm running 2 just because this is a fusion build and I do need targets. 1, you kinda can lose it sometimes. It doesn't show up as often, which is nice, but you can kinda lose it sometimes and ruin the win condition. But 3, it just clogs and bricks. I don't even really like 2, but 2 seems to be the magic number for now. 1 copy of Century of Stone over here. This one just constantly brings itself back. You get constant Mrs. Radiant material, or you can get constant rank 3 material. 2, King of the Swamp. This goes with a couple of our spells, namely Polymerization. Again, this is a fusion build over here. The win condition is Imperion Magnum, so you discard King of the Swamp, you get a Polymerization, or lesser known ability if you already have Polymerization in hand, and let's say one of the big Magnet Warrior monsters, normal summon this guy, he can substitute himself for the other one. So, neat little trick there. Not quite fusion tag, but it's an option. And you got 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. This is your bread and butter card over here. Pay 2,000 life points. Get all the Electromagnet Warriors in 1 party over here. You can't special summon further that turn, but this really sets up your graveyard, sets up your field for all sorts of shenanigans, really lets you go ham. Burial from a different dimension. This one just came to 2 on the ban list, and actually this is a great way to reload your graveyard, to reload your Berserkion, and actually you can clear out a field pretty easily with this over here. Just keep reusing the same Magnet Warrior monsters. And for the field engine, we have the Terraforming and the Magnetic Field. This card over here is actually outstanding. I think it's a little bit better than Union Hanger if you ask me. It actually pulls a Magnet Warrior out of your graveyard, back onto the field, lets you do some more XE summoning, Link summoning, whatever summoning shenanigans over here, so you never really lose field advantage too. Obviously you require a monster in your graveyard, so if you normal summon your Delta, pop something in there, bring it out, instant rank 4, and it's a once per turn sort of thing too, so it's a pretty good deal. Foolish Burial for a 1-of, and Magnet Reverse over here. This is a great way to resurrect your Berserkions or your Valkyrions and things like that, and it's a quick play too, so you can use it for some kind of funky OTKs, so I do like that. For the traps, got 2 copies of Lost Wind. Really great trap card, helps you out those really strong boss monsters if you can't just punch over them and then they can actually reset themselves. Release from Stone, this one's like another kind of, I think I might put in more Magnet Reverses if I ever get the chance to do another update on this deck over here. It's cool because it pulls back a banished rock monster, so we can even get some of the bigger ones too, the Berserkions and such. Or you can just go ahead and get your little Magnet Warriors back to go ahead and do more shenanigans again. So that's one. I don't use it very often. I'm not sure if I really like it early in the game. I might cut it down to 1 or cut it from the deck in general. We also have 2 rock bombardments. This one's kind of like a pseudo kind of Hatsume, or what was it? What's the one that does 500? Nadokazi. Anyway, so it's like a pseudo Foolish Burial. And it also acts to burn for 500, so it's kind of like a demi-cowboy sort of there, if you're trying to end the game a little faster. And of course the one Magnet Conversion, reloads your hand with Magnet Warrior monsters after you've done a combo. So it's a 1-of right now. Might be good as a 2-of, or I don't think it'd be worth it at 3, but might be decent as a 2-of. Something to play more with in testing there, so I haven't used it much in testing. This also might get cut too for something better. Now, I don't really want to talk about the side deck because, as Jay would say, it's up to player preference. I don't think a side deck's really up to player preference. It depends on the meta, honestly. So it depends on your individual meta, if you're at a local level, a regional level, YCS level, so you know what to side deck depending on what level you're at. Back to the matter. But either way, though, what isn't quite as dependent is the extra deck. So, starting with Lynx, we got 2 Mrs. Radiant. Just the best. It's just the best card for Earths right now, frankly. Gives him, it's a little bit of a floater too, lets you reload your hand from the monsters out of the graveyard over there, and everything in this deck aside from the Swamp Kings are Earth, so that's an easy one. Now here's the win condition, the boss monster, Imperium Magnum. Now this guy does a lot of damage, 4,000 point beater. He's got a built-in negate over there, no cost for it. It's only once per turn. That's probably the worst of it, quite frankly, is the fact that it's a once per turn, but otherwise, it's pretty super special awesome. Spider combo in here, so I have the number 23 Lancelot, just because we can get a lot of level 8s on the board pretty easily. A Pain Gainer to jump into, and 7 Deadly Sins. 7 Deadly Sins, kind of a funny little secondary win condition over here. I don't use it very often. It usually just turns into a big beat stick, a big spidery beat stick that just looks really cool. 1 Aegeon, the Sea Castrum. This one's actually kind of cool too. Helps you kind of hack through your opponent's extra deck. This used to be a bigger part of the strategy before Master Rule 4 came out and before Lithos Aegis got banned. I used to have the Draco monsters in here too, or the True King monsters I should say. And we do BFD combos after Lithos Aegis and then put up one of these bad boys over here. So an opponent would be minus like 6 cards in their extra deck in one turn, but unfortunately with the banning of Lithos Aegis, there's just not a lot of synergy with that anymore. Hopefully I can come up with something that's a little better someday soon. Your Dark Rebellion, you got your Carnagorn, Castell, and Abyss Dweller, all pretty standard. These two could easily turn into a Utopia package, honestly, if you wanted to, but it's just what I have for these, and then this gets more cards into the graveyard a little quicker. Carnagorn is, it's a rock type. I hadn't realized this is a rock type there, so it's got a little bit of synergy. Not much, but a little bit of synergy. Now, the bread and butter kind of cards over here. Break Sword, just for spot removal, and these two are my favorite, the Gorgonic Guardians over here. I always thought this was like one of the coolest cards that helped me win a tournament back when the Legacy of the Valiant came out. We were just kind of doing a draft tournament, and this was like my go-to card, and I so wanted to build a deck around this card for the longest time, but the Gorgonic cards really kind of sucked, and I didn't have anything to work with, so this is an awesome card. It's usually my first turn play if I can't get into a Mrs. Radiant and something else. this is absolutely what I'll go into every single time. But anyway, yeah, that's the deck profile there. We'll probably do a little bit more testing. I think Jay said he wanted to get ahead and do a little showdown between the Secret Six Samurai and these bad boys over here. But yeah, if you guys want to see that Six Samurai versus Magnet Warrior throwdown, comment down in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll go ahead and do more fun stuff. We have a really big Honest deck profile, actually, not this week, it'll be next week. There's a big one I've been working on that we're really hyped about. We've had this written for months, and I think you guys are really going to like it, so stay tuned for that. But